This is HMS Ocean, flagship of the Royal Navy.
Thanks, command approved.
She's Britain's biggest warship.
She's a special lady and she's a one-off, and I think that's why everybody secretly falls in love with Ocean.
She's also a floating village. Now its 1,000-strong crew is sailing to the Persian Gulf. There they will take control of an American task force off the coast of Iran. But a third of its young crew are at sea for the first time.
Got my 18th birthday, and I get to spend it on board the ship. How cool is that?
And the ageing ship is feeling the strain.
It's the first time we've had that fault on the panel.
They've now got just 7 weeks to get up to scratch and have allowed our cameras on board to show how it's done. This is what it's like to run a modern warship. It's 3 weeks since HMS Ocean left its home port of Plymouth.
Got another one to starboard. Just come back down in speed again.
Operating in safe waters off the coast of Albania, she is preparing for the next stage of her deployment. It comes with some major challenges. From Albania, Ocean will head to Egypt, first to Alexandria, and then into the heavily guarded Suez Canal. She'll emerge into the Red Sea and into an active war zone off the coast of Yemen.
As you go through the Mediterranean, the tension goes up. You've got civil war in Libya and Syria, and obviously there are ongoing limited issues in Egypt.
A third of the crew is at sea for the first time. It's second-in-command Nick Wood's job to make sure they're up to speed.
And there's a lot of young kids on here. They've not done this before. They've done exercises, but it's not really the same. You don't think about it at night, the what-ifs, and I want them to do that now.
Every day they hammer home the message that the ship is heading to hostile waters.
Someone's printing out a news article from Sky News about missiles being fired at a US warship again in the Red Sea. That's what we're about to go into. And it's off the coast of Yemen. It was fired on by some rebels. I think there's a little bit of like apprehensiveness going on. I think a few boys are maybe feeling a little bit nervous, but as long as we do our job and our training, and we've got X amount of highly trained Royal Marines on board. So yeah, I mean, we're on a warship at the end of the day. We're in one of the safest places, hopefully.
Vessel on my stern, this is Warship Lima 1-2. Your intentions are unclear. I'm about to illuminate you with another flare. I request you turn away immediately.
A warship is a safe place, as long as everyone knows what they have to do and where they have to be in an emergency. And if they don't, Nick is there to tell them.
Get down! Get down now! Get on the centre line!
Vessel on my stern, this is Lima 1-2. Turn away or I may be forced to take action against you in self-defence.
People need to understand that that is a situation that has killed people in the past.
Get in there! Get on the centre line, listen to the pipes!
Warning 4 being read, still no response.
The USS Cole was hit by a boat filled with explosives, and it came in through 5 deck, which is where I patrol.
Get in there, get in the hangar, and you stay on, listen to pipes.
Contacts now 500 yards, not responding to warning shots, continue to close, going to warning 5. Warship Lima 1-2, turn away and I will take action in self-defence. Over.
Right, what are you doing?
Knowing the drill could be a matter of life or death.
We've got a quick draw at the moment, which we exercise when we've got a small boat closing us at speed, so we don't know what it is. So whilst the weapons teams are all closing up and getting ready to fire warning shots, which they'll do in a second or so, we've got to keep people off 5 deck. So the exec team and myself run around with our shitty stick and make sure everyone behaves themselves.
P-Row navigator, warning shots against the contact
Now
on the
at 1,000
stern.
yards astern.
There you go.
P7 stoppage.
Okay, that's the vessel now turning away. It's
Vessel's
turning
now turning away.
from
Yeah,
us.
S5, check.
Looks like there's smoke coming from the vessel.
Difficulty we've got operating out here is there's so many fast boats, there's smugglers and there's people running drugs and all sorts of stuff, and we can't differentiate between people who want to do us harm and people who just don't want to divert round us because we're in their way, and sometimes they get close. That's the thing that keeps us awake at night.
Get it in there. Get it in.
Ocean is a village at sea, and like every village, it has its essential services. This is the local dump. Engineering apprentice Kate Benson and her colleague Dom Tate are emptying the bins.
I suppose when you join, you don't think,
No, you don't think
I'm
about
going
it.
to be a glorified bin girl. Someone has to do it.
Yeah.
They've both volunteered for the job of sorting the rubbish, or gash as it's known in the Navy. Volunteers are given extra money to compensate them for doing the job no one wants.
We do get paid extra for being down here. I think it's about £6 a day, just because you're having to work with garbage on like food waste and stuff. So it's not too bad in that sense.
It's not the only perk.
I found a pair of like 80 quid sunglasses down here. I still have them now. Like, Kate's the worst for it. She'll take anything she can get her hands on.
If it's going down here, it's fine. You do get some odd stuff come down here. Berries, overalls, mobiles. Other week we had like a rubber willy. So it was just a rubber willy, really. It was a bit odd to come across, but I took it. We took it back to the mess. So it's hung up above his bar, the gash willy.
Every evening, Nick Wood patrols Ocean's lower decks with Executive Warrant Officer Carl Steedman. It's a chance for both men to take the pulse of the ship and check on the new recruits.
And I picked that up 2 days ago, so I want that done again, yeah? In fact, when you've done it, nip down my cabin and let me know it's done, yeah? Good stuff.
Yeah, we do rounds every night, yeah. Just checks the cleanliness, hygiene of the areas. Make sure the lads are into their routines, because what you've got to remember is we're deployed for 6 months now, so it's keeping on top of it. I'm the senior non-commissioned member of the ship's company, so I'm in charge of the day-to-day routines of the ship, and I'm the overall coordinator of all the manpower on board. So the head of HR, really, in civilian terms, if I'm honest with you. If I've got 10 or 15 people that aren't in a good place, a department will dip, and we can't have that, especially with the part of the world where we're going to. Not too bad. You've actually started to listen to me.
Evening, gang, how are we? Excellent.
A sailor lives and sleeps in an accommodation block known as a mess, segregated by rank, profession, and sex.
Mess hall?
Hello, ladies, relax, please. How are we? Yeah, how's tricks?
Yeah, well.
There's a massive difference. The girls look after their mess decks. The boys tend to act like unruly teenagers, which is kind of why I do rounds every night, to make sure that they're honest, but I never have problems with the girls.
What do you try to keep doing? I need to move this down. Does that take the pretty
At night, Ocean's main helicopter hangar becomes a gym. Inevitably, working together, men and women come into frequent close contact. Relationships are governed by a strict code of conduct.
You got rules, no fraternisation, like this night, the no touch rule. No boys in the mess after 10:30, or vice versa for the lads. There's just loads of rules, but they've got to have rules. Otherwise it would just be like a madhouse, it would be like a zoo.
On board a warship, over 900 people on board, male and females mixed together. There is a natural tendency for attractions to be formed. When I give my induction briefs, I make a big point of covering the no-touch rule, as we call it. I cannot stop people being attracted to people, be it the same sex or the opposite sex.
It does happen. I think if you were not secretive about it, but you weren't in people's faces with it, but I know it's not looked upon as a good thing being a couple within the ship.
What I do try and encourage is that people are aware, is they take it ashore and keep it ashore and don't do it on board my warship, I'm in a better place.
Ocean's main weapons system is its company of Royal Marines. Today they are using their landing craft to practice a beach assault. All 350 commandos are taking part. Preparation for the exercise has been centred on the ship's helicopter hangar, which means the troops fall under the watchful eye of Ocean's executive warrant officer and head of accommodation, Carl Steedman.
What time you guys going ashore then?
Well, we're looking at deployed about 2200.
Happy days. HMS Ocean at the moment is absolutely toppers with personnel. So, the way that the Royal Marines and the Amphibious task group operates is we like to keep our guys together, just in case the exercise demands that people react quickly. So I've had people sleeping in the hangar for the last 48 hours. I could have dotted them on mattresses around the various parts of the ship, but their troop sergeants and sergeant majors would have not been able to find them. So we keep them all together, and then we can just chuck them ashore as and when needed.
So ensure your life jackets are on correctly and they're lined out in your right lines, all right?
Ocean can launch her Marines at any stretch of coastline in the world.
Lads, line out in one line.
But getting 350 commandos off ship and onto the right beach isn't easy.
This will be first on. Yeah, last off. Yeah, happy days, all right.
Practice makes perfect. Today, the men are being drilled by Sergeant Major Guy Kenevan. He's the link between the ship and the landing craft that take the men into combat.
Just lining them up now, ready for the assault guys to take them up onto the boat bay, then they'll load onto the craft then. Because they need to be in the right order to get on the craft, so they're in the right order to get off the craft at the other end.
The landing craft vehicle personnel boats, or LCVPs, are 23 tons of metal swinging off the side of Ocean. A health and safety nightmare.
If a lad's in the wrong position or they get trapped up against the wheelhouse or up against the canopies of the boat, that's when injuries start happening. If your hands or fingers or stuff in the wrong place, then dangerous environment.
The Marines have a long history with the sea.
Primarily, we're an amphibious force. We've served on board ships, we've deployed from ships. We became commandos during the Second World War, we carried out raids and stuff, and I think that adds to the whole mystique and aura of the Royal Marines, and especially the word commando. That's probably the word that will do it for most people, commando.
There are some challenges for which even a Green Beret can't prepare you. The last time Guy was in this stretch of water, he was rescuing migrants off the coast of Libya.
That was unique. We hadn't, as a Navy, been involved with anything like that before, so it posed its own set of challenges as how do you, A, pick up the people in their thousands, and B, transport them to somewhere of safety where they can get processed, so at the end of the day, they're people and you've got to save them. And there's babies, there's young kids, they're all distressed, they're all crying, and you can see the look of terror on some of their faces, and they're humans at the end of the day, and so no matter what you think politically about whether we should be picking them up and dumping them in Europe, that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You're saving people's lives, and that's very, very fulfilling.
The Marines hit the beach and complete the day's task. No fuss, no mistakes, and crucially, no injuries.
while.
HMS Ocean is now heading towards Egypt, en route to the Suez Canal. But first, the ship is docking in the major port of Alexandria for a spot of diplomacy.
Port wheel on. Steer 036.
With so much recent political instability, it's 8 years since the Royal Navy last entertained the Egyptian government.
Roger, let me know as soon as we're clear to swing. We'll come to port and reverse course. The strength of the warship is that they can bring violence on the enemy, but actually most of the time we're not. We're doing defence engagement around the world. We're able to turn up all over the globe and push UK interests. We are a 208-metre chunk of UK PLC. We're sovereign territory, and we have the ensign on the back. And where we go, that's where the UK goes. It's a really important visit, and it's what the Navy does bloody well.
The first priority is the ship's safety. The port is considered a security risk. The Navy's bomb disposal unit, the Fleet Diving Squad, has been flown in to inspect the hull for explosives.
If the threat's high enough, we'll go in ahead of the ship and we'll conduct a search of the jetty and make sure there's no explosive devices or improvised explosive devices on that berth. In this situation, we're out here purely to provide an extra layer of protection for the ship. So in the same way they've got extra sentries on the upper deck, we're providing regular swim-throughs on the ship's hull to deter any attack.
The threat of terrorism in Alexandria is very real. It's the city where 17 people were killed just recently in a Palm Sunday attack on a Coptic Christian church. In the hangar, preparations are underway to hold an official reception for the Egyptian military and senior government officials.
Right, what's going on here? Are these going up, are they? These? I think there's some need replacing on the flight deck as well.
Leading airman Kyle Mason is used to moving helicopters on the deck, but today his skills are being employed for set decoration.
We've been working hard, getting the hangar prepped. We're just about to drop the forward lift and bring the Merlin in, and then we're going to fence the Merlin off so it's a bit of a showpiece for the party. And then we'll barrier it off as well so no one interferes with it after the cocktails are flowing.
Midship, slow down.
Beneath the ship, the dive team are completing their final safety sweep.
The whole area is unstable at the moment, but we will protect ourselves because we would be stupid not to. We put the ship in harm's way, but we do everything we can to protect that ship and the ship's company within it.
Quickly go through it then. Hot canapes, a lot of it's the frozen stuff. Dim sums, chicken satay, jalapeno poppers, wings of fire.
In the galley, the chefs are keen to show that they too can rise to the occasion.
Yeah, that's it, that's it. Just slow down, yeah, just slow down. Get it right, get it right. Yeah, we don't want to rush it. That's it. That's it.
Bangers and chips are out of the window. Tonight, it's all vol au vents and canapes.
What we're going to do is we'll take the ham and cheese ones out because of the pork. We don't want to cause any confusion for anyone who's surfing. We don't want to offend anyone. These parties and the functions and things like that is a bit more what I like to do. There's definitely an art in cooking for 1,000 people. There's a bit more of a refined art to cooking fancy food for smaller amounts of people. It's a completely different type of skill set.
Wine. Nice and easy. Set the ice. Lemon in the entree dishes. And then you have
the hospitality team is also going through its final drills.
Right, so just move off the glasses, move the glasses back.
Marshalled by head steward Everest Tempro.
Yeah, do it on all the tables, right? I want it like this one. Give me one here.
Hailing from the Caribbean island of St. Vincent and Grenadine, Tempro has been in the Navy for 10 years.
I was a police officer in St. Vincent and Grenadines, and one day I was just riding down the street with my on my little police bike, and someone said the Navy's recruiting people. So I just went and signed up my name and hope for the best, and then here I am.
So you happy with everything, right? Yeah?
I'm happy, Chief.
Yeah, and then you're giving your brief at 2.
2 o'clock, yeah.
Happy days.
With only a couple of hours until the guests arrive, the fleet diving squad finally give the all clear.
Thank you very much for helping out this evening and the officers and senior rates that are coming down. It's a working night, but it comes with alcohol. But you are here to work, you are here to host. Tell them about the ship. If they want to go on impromptu tours, that's entirely fine. Take them around, but they need to be back here at 20 to 8. In groups then, please. Go and grab a drink, have a good time.
Ceremonial party, up.
Among the guests tonight are senior members of the Egyptian military. 3 years ago, they overthrew a democratically elected government dominated by the Islamic Muslim Brotherhood.
Pipe to the side.
Today, Egypt under military rule is nonetheless a key military ally in the Middle East.
All ready to go, guys, so if you want to start serving them up now.
It's all about preparation. I'm totally 100% happy with the way we prepare ourselves. And now it's show time. Good to go.
One of my goals tonight is to encourage some of the officers to get out there and mingle. So there will be about 150 to 200 guests on board. And obviously when a bunch of strangers that you've never met before come on your ship, it's quite hard to encourage some of the more younger officers and senior rates to go and talk to them. So I'll just go and get amongst them, force them to go and have some chats and some conversations, and they'll be fun. They will get amongst in the end. They will understand what the whole purpose of the evening is.
Lovely to meet you, Tony. Right. So, your contact sit down.
Every officer is expected to step up to the plate to meet, greet, and apply soft power. Tonight, everyone is on message.
This is UK PLC putting its cards on the table and saying that this nation, we support you, and here we are. And you can talk as much as you like, but until you fess up with hardware or people, it doesn't really have that much weight behind it. You turn up with a fleet flagship and it says to a nation that we will support you, we stand by you, and guess what? This is what we've brought to do that.
This is Realpolitik, Royal Navy style.
Right across the ship, every single member of the ship's company contributes to this effort, and of course we're ultimately representing the United Kingdom. It's been a very successful evening.
Very smooth. Nice and slow to start with, then it builds up nicely in the center, and then we wear out nice in the end. I couldn't imagine it going any better, to be honest.
Tomorrow, the bunting will come down and Ocean will become a warship again. She is about to head towards the world's most strategic waterway, the Suez Canal. With 18 years of service under her belt, Ocean is the grand old lady of the British fleet. In 2 years' time, she'll be retired. Some of those on board are also approaching the end of their military careers.
I will miss the camaraderie, and I miss the ability to be a kid, really. I think you're only ever going to find that in the Royal Marines, you know, and I think it's given me the ability to live in a kind of Peter Pan world where I just haven't grown up for 20 years, and I think I'll struggle when I get on Stevie Street, and yeah. I've recently become a father, so you know things have changed drastically for me. You know what I mean? You know, I've had to leave my 9-month-old daughter at home. I'm going to miss her first birthday. I miss her first Christmas. That's hard. That really is hard. Going away before for protracted periods, you know, never really used to bother me. You know, yeah, I miss home and I miss my family. You know, I miss my dad and my mum and stuff. But having a child changes everything. Yeah, I've had a child late, but I can leave and still see the best part of her years growing up, and that's my intentions, that's what I want to do.
As the ship heads toward the Suez Canal, the atmosphere becomes more tense.
I have 120 newbies with me. They've not been on a deployment before. You know, many more of those have not been east of Suez. There was always one or two who get a little fretful about a particular situation.
You tend to pick up if someone's a bit down. We're kind of taught through training and stuff to like keep an eye out for people, have people's back.
Hey Mum, it's me. Yeah, not bad, thanks, you.
Everyone has their bad days and stuff, and obviously you live together, so you soon pick up on stuff like that.
No men, still single.
I'm not finding it too bad, really. If I do have a bad day, I tend to just take myself away and tend to just sleep it off. Normally you're just tired and grumpy. You're soon fine again.
This ship cannot function without its ship's company. It is its prized resource, and we've got to protect them because they need to do a job of war.
Ocean will take around 19 hours to transit the Suez Canal. It's 110 miles long and a vital route from Asia to Europe, shortening journeys by 3,500 miles, saving around 8 days at sea.
Got one occulting light down a bearing, or white light down a bearing 131.
It's 2 a.m. and Ocean is waiting to enter the canal.
The challenge for us is, of course, it's very dark at the moment, albeit a decent amount of moonlight. Of course, we need to determine whether the small vessels that we're seeing that don't have any lights in many cases, whether they are benign fishermen or whether they perhaps have some other intent. So we've got to clearly ensure nothing comes too close to us.
Less than 10 minutes into the journey, a local ferry cuts straight across the bow of Ocean. It could be a simple act of carelessness or a ploy to slow the ship and open her to attack.
Yes, we'll just monitor this guy. Sound 5 short
Sound
blasts.
5 short blasts.
Okay, stop engine.
Stop both engines.
It's really stupid, pilot. This is a 23,000-ton aircraft carrier.
وكان في مشكلة كبيرة جدا، يا ريت نشوف الرئيس بتاعه يتحاسب.
Roger. It's about another 162 kilometres to go. Clearly, we need to take additional precautions.
It's just after dawn, and Commander Nick Wood has taken over on the bridge.
We've just had sunrise about 30 minutes ago, so we're just starting to see an increase in the amount of security that's looking after the canal.
Flanked by a reinforced concrete wall, the canal seems secure, although the bridge has spotted serious flaws.
There's some more gaps in the security fence from the looks of it. Yeah, it's a good spot. There's a couple of gaps there.
We're making good progress, probably through in the next 6 hours or so, so everything is quite calm, which is the way I like it.
Insurgent groups lurking in the Sinai Peninsula are a threat to shipping.
In that area there continues to be terrorist activity there, which the Egyptians are working extremely hard to counter. But it's an insurgency. It can be a man in a car with an RPG. That's what we're looking for. It's not great big bodies of men coming towards us. It's normally just an individual. So that's what we're concentrating on at the moment.
190. Starboard wheel still 190.
Remote control cameras that can see for up to 3 miles track the movement of anything suspicious. They're monitored by Operations Officer Adam Riddett.
We have a series of remotely operated guns distributed around the upper deck. Those guns have a separate camera allocated to each weapon system, which we can move around independently of the gun. So we're not swinging the gun around, we're simply using the camera that's associated with it. And that gives us a really good thermal imaging picture and a television picture if we needed to. And genuinely this would be in one of the most extreme of circumstances. We would connect the gun to that camera and we could sort of operate the gun based on what we can see out of the camera position.
There's a few people on board, both Royal Marines, members of 820 Naval Air Squadron, and a good percentage of the ship's company that have never been up and down this canal before. So even though we've got all our upper deck weapons manned, it is quite nice to have one or two of our berthing bays open, just so they can stand on the side and just actually look and see, just so they've got something to talk about when they get back to the UK in March.
Well, it's quite a lucrative piece for the Egyptians, this. It depends on the size of the ship, but it's somewhere between £300,000 and £400,000 for a two-way trip, for a two-way transit through the Suez. Instead of 80, 90 ships going through on a daily basis, every day of the year, that's a big income stream for the Egyptians, and they've got a vested interest in making sure this stays open and keeps running, and the money keeps rolling in.
Not scared? Are you scared at all?
Scared? Well, I made a will before I came out, like, just in case, you never know. But nah, should be alright. I've got my life jacket. What else can go wrong? Can't swim too good, but my life jacket works, so we'll be alright.
Have you told your missus or not?
No, not really. I don't really want to get worried. Like, she knows me in swimming, so nah.
I haven't told my mum, so my mum doesn't know, so it's all good.
From the Suez Canal, Ocean heads south through the Red Sea. She'll exit via the choke point of the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. High ground overlooking the strait is controlled by Houthi insurgents in the Yemen. 2 weeks ago, they attacked shipping here with missiles. With this heightened risk, the Navy has to make a tough decision about the safety of the film crew.
Because of the worsening situation in the southern Red Sea, there's cruise missiles being fired at American warships. The Royal Navy's decided it's not safe for us to be on board, so we're having to leave and we'll be flying back to London by Cairo. But for now, that's filming finished.
It's a really fluid situation. We don't have the intelligence on the ground to know what their actual intent is, so we must always assume the worst. You'd be bloody foolish to go through there and think that it's just another area of the ocean. You know, there are people who have access to anti-ship missiles that could do us some significant harm.
I don't think you'd ever be ready for real-life combat until you were in that situation, but I do feel your training's made for that one reason, really. We're all comfortable and confident that we can deal with it.
I've been in the Navy long enough now, and I've been around some dangerous places. To be honest, I'm not even scared anymore. This is how I look at it. If you're walking in the street, you could be killed. You're driving, you could be killed. If it's your time, it's your time. I mean, but if I'm gonna go out, I'd rather go out with a bang, to be honest. So if I'm gonna fight for worthy cause, then let me fight for worthy cause.
The film crew is leaving Ocean and won't return until she's negotiated the Bab el-Mandeb Strait and made it safely to Oman. Ocean is in Oman. The ship passed safely through the dangerous Bab el-Mandeb Strait without incident, and the film crew has been allowed back on board.
Bridge, bosun, forecastle team have secured the forward tug. Spare personnel are fell-in facing to port.
Roger, many thanks. Quarterdeck X, say how are we getting on down after? It was absolutely uneventful. 10 hours spent at action stations, walking around in anti-flash in the Red Sea in 45-degree depth temperature. Was pretty miserable. It was uneventful, which is what you want, but a useful point to just focus everybody's mind about for what happens next.
It's been a stressful couple of weeks for the ship's company. So the crew is due some light relief.
See them two bits? Yeah. One's going to sit on there, one's going to sit there, going across on that side. Okay.
Marine engineer Michael Hedgecock and the rest of the lads are refitting their mess for Miners' Night.
It's the Miners themed Halloween party. We all get dressed in OVs and black paint. And just drinking a mine, helmets, head torches, the lot.
Miners' Night is an unofficial Navy tradition whose origins are thought to hark back to the days of coal-powered steamships.
That is comfy.
Hedgecock is the 5th generation of his family to serve as a stoker in the Navy. He shares his mess with 47 other men, all of them engineers. The men have just 3 shower cubicles, 3 toilets, and 4 wash basins between them. Cozy doesn't even begin to cover it.
It's a big shock to a lot of people compared to home life. Most people have singles, doubles, queen, king-size beds. We're here, the 3 stacked high bunk beds. So if you're in the middle or bottom pair, you're basically like, it's not really, yeah, it's a bit coffin-like.
So this is where I live. It's literally a forearm's length is what you'd get in them 2 pits.
I like being in a little coffin now, just wrapping up in a little ball.
Yeah, but you don't get coffin dreams.
That is fair.
Yeah, I've had them twice and they're horrendous. I wake up and then I try and sit up and I hit my head and I'm like, well, where the hell am I? And then I start trying to push it up above me, try and get out. The first time it happened, I didn't know what was going on. I was pushing my feet up above me. It's like first week on board, absolutely horrendous. Some people get it every single night and they have to get taken off the ship because of it. Yeah.
There's a lot of people living in a small space, and over a 6-month deployment, little things starts to wind people up after a while, and that's for us to just break up those routines and give the guys an opportunity to break so they don't get too pent up with little things that annoy each other.
Evening guys, how are you? Please relax, how are you? You've done well, gentlemen, you've done really well.
We're at sea, we're doing a job, they're watch keeping, so the guys that have had the night off will have a couple of beers and behave themselves, and yeah, it's good. Why wouldn't you do it? So it's a little bit of fun in an otherwise long days that these guys do. So I say good luck to them. Have a great night, gents, and I will see you all bright and early tomorrow.
Cheers, sir. See ya.
Ocean has been joined by another British warship, HMS Bulwark, for a huge anti-terrorist exercise. Both ships will stage an amphibious attack on the Omani coastline. To commemorate the occasion, the Navy has staged a sailpast for the cameras. HMS Bulwark will take the lead on this exercise thanks to a unique design feature. Bulwark's captain is James Parkin.
We are the only ship in the Navy that's designed to sink. 50 metres after where I'm standing at the moment, there is that huge hollow hole in the centre of the ship. When we need to, we can add 3,500 tonnes of water in just under an hour back aft, so that my dock sinks into the water and I can launch 4 enormous landing craft utility onto the beach. The ship is this size because of the dock, that this hollow heart is actually almost like a cathedral of amphibiosity.
On Ocean, getting men and machines into a landing craft is much more tricky.
We've got 2 ways of getting vehicles off the ship when she's at sea. We can either fly them off underslung a helicopter, or we get them like this. We put our stern ramp down and we drive them from the vehicle deck into a landing craft and take them ashore. What you can't pick up is there's probably a half-metre swell, which might not seem like much, but 28 tonnes moving 50 centimetres up and down, it can batter the aft ramp quite bad, so we want to get it secured as quickly as we can.
Attaching the pontoon is scary, but driving an armoured truck off a ramp and onto a boat below is much worse. A detachment of Ocean's Royal Marines is now stationed on Bulwark, preparing for the nighttime attack. Exercises like this help foster military cooperation with Britain's allies. So there are officers from the Omani Navy and Army on board to help with the planning.
Okay, tonight J Company are going to be the first wave, and they will project ashore at 0300 over Green 2. As J Company are moving...
Mark Totten is the Marines commander on board Ocean.
You can't prepare to operate in a desert or a jungle or an Arctic environment without going there and experiencing it and learning from it. So that's why we're coming here, to get full immersion in a place that we have operated in and we might operate in again.
Preparing a Marine for battle is more than just giving him bullets and boots. Over on Ocean, the ship's chaplain, Paul Andrew, is responsible for the moral instruction needed for modern soldiering. He's uniquely placed to understand the ethical dimension to training a Green Beret.
I had my midlife crisis a couple of years ago when I went on the commander course with 128 Troop S. Never prayed or laughed so much in my life. But yes, by God's grace, I somehow got through. One of the things that I enjoy with Marines is actually you get what you see. And with Afghanistan, I had a lot of people come and talk to me because for the first time in their life, they don't automatically think they're going to live forever. They think about what's, important to them. They think about the fact that they might be injured or killed, or they might have mates that are injured or killed. I think it makes you think in a very different way. It makes you think about the big questions in life. As well as doing all the padre stuff you'd expect, we do lectures on the ethics of war and what it means to be a Royal Marine. So whether we talk about proportionality in the way we do things, or just in the way you would hold back rather than going in, bayonets fixed or whatever else. It might not necessarily be until they come into training that they realise that being part of the armed forces is being part of something where you might be expected to take another's life.
Under cover of night, the commandos move ashore. 12 miles away in the desert, another group of Marines has made camp and is playing the part of the terrorists. They know an attack is coming, they just don't know when. Dawn breaks over the desert, and the Green Berets kick into action. The bullets are blanks, but the explosives are real.
We make the training as realistic as possible, and that's one of the reassuring things when you are on an operation, that it feels like it did in training. So you minimise the surprises.
Mark has fought in the desert before.
In 2003 in Iraq, we were based on the Amphibious task group, and then we flew ashore initially to seize oil infrastructure. So we have done what we're training for real in the recent past. It's exhilarating, frightening. Someone else trying to mess up your day. It really does push you to your limits, but it's enormously rewarding when you've been through that test.
Scotty, take that check. Roll in.
There's lots of human endeavours out there, but conflict is certainly one of the ones that make you realise what it is to be human. It really does test you in ways that other parts of life don't.
The Marines have been awake for 36 hours, fighting in 100-degree heat. Exercise over. Now they just have to wait for their ride home.